Oh, yeah. All right. Hello. Hello. So, I've been listening to my own live streams all day, um, and I love it. I do love listening to them. I even play Clash Royale better when I'm listening to them because when I'm when I have when I'm listening to something that consider to be interesting enough that I don't start questioning whether or not playing Clash Royale is a good use of my time, then I'll start winning. And so as soon as I turned it on, I started winning. At one point, I was talking about how this is like one of my live streams from 3 years ago, and I was talking about how I was binge eating on DoorDash. And I was just like, holy shit, there was a time when I could afford DoorDash. Can you believe that? Right now, oops, my computer turned off because I forgot to plug it in. So yeah, so there was a time when I could afford DoorDash, and right now it is snowing a lot, and I'm hungry, and I wish I could afford DoorDash right now, but I cannot. Or I mean, technically I do have money for DoorDash, but I'd rather save that money and spend it in Taiwan. Because if you think about it, the cheapest thing you can get on DoorDash ends up being like $30, and $30 is 900 NT, and I don't know what I can get for 900 NT, but I'm about to find out because of what I'm about to do. But we'll get to that. What's everything look kind of like bigger than normal? So yeah, so I was listening to my live streams, and also there's definitely something wrong with the air in my room. Every time I try to go in there, um, every time I'm in there, my throat starts to hurt and I start to cough. And this is why Ali is pissing me off so much because he's out here in the living room all day sleeping. And so I wouldn't like if he was out here sleeping right now, which he's not because he went to comedy or something, then I wouldn't feel comfortable talking like this. Or at least I would know that everything I say is going to elicit some sort of a reaction from him, even if it's not in the moment. But then later on, when he's drunk, he gets angry about some shit I said earlier in the day, or he brings it up. It's just fucking annoying. So I can't just like do whatever I would normally do. Um, that's the first thing. And then, so what I should do is just stay in my room. Uh, but again, the air in there is fucked up. And then secondly, I would open a window to swap out the air, but then he gets all angry about it being cold, which he's not wrong. It is cold, but like, stop being so fucking lazy. Get up and get some exercise, and you won't be cold. I might have to march through this absolute insane blizzard to go get some junk food because I want to just eat things. Or not, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I managed to get through like months with almost no money for food. Uh, you know, but that's the thing is that when I don't have any money for food, then when I get hungry, I just like, well, I don't have money, so just keep working. But when you do have money for food, then you have to have a little debate with yourself. Is it, should I go get some food or should I just keep working? And having that debate over and over again is bad for productivity and distracting. And so it's better to just go get the food and eat, and then you can stop debating with yourself about whether or not to go get the food. Anyways, so as I was listening to this shit, ugh, um, I realized that I need to get back to work on the Dan Bing directory, the Huali and Dan Bing directory. Uh, And I had gotten a little confused about the Hualien Danbing directory for many reasons, which I will go into here. One reason, and I don't know why to work on it now. I don't know. There's not really like a good reason to work on it right now. I'm not sure why to work on it, but I feel I have an intuition that once I start working on it, I will realize why I need to work on it. Or even if I realize that I truly don't need to work on it, that in and of itself will be an important realization. But anyway, so the reasons why I got confused and stopped working on it include that elation. Elation is a problem. I remember when I was reading a poker book and it was talking about how you can get angry and tilted at the table, and that can cost you money. And it's equally bad when you have a good run of cards, you win a bunch of money, and then you get loopy. You're elated to the point where you stop thinking clearly, and that can result in you splashing money around stupidly, or just not playing well, just not getting. Uh, what I'm trying to say, not capitalizing on opportunities that come up the way you normally would. Um, or it can lead to you like drinking at the table. Or I definitely have had I had sessions where I was like up $2,000 after like 1 hour, or not after 1 hour, after like 5 hours, I was up $2,000, and then after 24 hours, I was back to even. And that was because at the end of 5 hours, I was like, I've won so much, and this was like playing 2-4. So $2,000 is an insane amount of money at 2-4. Like you're just thinking, I'll never lose all this. I'm up for I had a winning session. Like put it in the bank. And but because I was playing stupidly for 20 hours straight, I slowly but surely lost it all. And it wasn't until I got back to breaking even, that I started to play well again. So, um, so I had this elation problem because of the being able to go into the directory and then pull up a chatbot, a review bot within the directory, having the chatbot embedded within the chatbot response. It's so amazingly good for my productivity. It's so like that means I don't need to know the specific URL of each chatbot. It can be found as long as it's in the vector database. That means that when I'm building a directory and when I'm building a demo, they're not like two separate things that are vying for my time and attention, and that I need to choose one path. Both of them are reinforcing each other now. Um, and it's just cool. And all of those things like together, like the dopamine hit of like, oh, everything got better. Like that thing just made it, which is true. Like, but it's going to be long term before like it's going to be a slow, steady payoff on that. Um, and in the meanwhile, it completely derailed me from what I was working on, which was the Dan Bing Dan. So that's one reason. The second reason is because I realized that I can do white labels in both directions. I can call people and say like, I want you to sell my chatbots, and I want to sell your chatbots. And that way, either way, if they don't have chatbots, I focus on trying to sell them my chatbots, like that they will white label my chatbots. If they do sell chatbots, then I can offer to white label, to sell their chatbots white label. And it's not even like a lie or a confuse. It's like it's the truth. It's like on one hand, I would like to get more clients, so that's why I want you to white label my chatbots. But on the other hand, I would like that if I get a big client, I don't have to tell them no. So that's why I want to be able to white label your chatbots, and that will give me like backup capacity. And so then with that in mind, it makes perfect sense to make a directory of chatbot companies and SEO companies. And then I was like looking up karaoke's, and there's a lot of karaoke's in Hualien. And I was like, oh, I should make a directory of karaoke restaurants, or not of karaoke bars. And then it's like, well, what is the specials for karaoke bars? And there's like just and there was a couple other things going on that got me confused, basically. And then just too much time at the computer and not knowing what to work on, and these guys, these stupid fucking assholes, just sort of like, it's not even that they're doing any, they're just fucking with my rhythm, which was fine before when it was like I'm trying to get them to work, but now that it's like I'm just trying to work on my own, um when they fuck up my rhythm, it's really fucking annoying. And I'm, like Ali's sleeping in the living room all day, and then I can't come out here and get my day going. And then him coming into my room at night to fucking say bullshit to me, so I can't sleep at night. And like there's just, so there's that. And then like when I sit down and I try to work, but the interruptions are like for 3 hours straight of interruptions. So by the time I'm actually like they are gone and they're not distracting me anymore, like, it's too late. I've already, like, been sitting for too long. I've already been looking at the computer, the screen too long. My eyes hurt, my legs hurt. I need to get up and go for a walk or whatever. And then it's, like, fucking snowing outside. It's freezing cold outside. It's hard to just go out for a walk and just walk it off. And typically, my move when it's this type of weather is to, like, sing karaoke and be on the elliptical. But again, these are things that, I mean, I can do them with, Ali and Mo here, but there's going to be a reaction to everything I do. They're going to talk shit or make jokes or whatever, and it just distracts me and confuses me and keeps me from recovering physically and mentally, and then getting back to work. So that has been a factor for sure. Although that I have been still managing to handle it, and I haven't really been like, at the end of the day, I'm not like I have to go out and talk to people, because I have been talking to people during the day when I didn't want to. So there's that. So it does save me that time, whatever. It's not a complete, anyways, but yeah. So I was sort of like, well, why would I be calling Dan Bing restaurants if I was gonna, if I can just call SEO restaurants? Shouldn't I prioritize making an SEO directory? And then I don't know, I just got very confused in a lot of different directions. Um, but a couple of things. For one, oh, also, same with the issue with the directories all along has been, two. There's two parts to it. One is like there must be a better way to like make skeleton entries quickly. Like instead of doing one file for each restaurant, surely I can just make a file with like 100 restaurant name, Facebook URL, and that I don't need to. And then I can put the Facebook URL in the restaurant's file as well. Like that's fine. It's redundant. It's good actually for it to be redundant. But I can start by having every single restaurant's Facebook URL in there, and then move on to also having like their graph in there. Uh, which is another thing. Is like, well, how much am I supposed to is supposed to be in there, whatever, and like who is even going to use this thing? But you know what? I will use it. That's kind of the idea. Is that I will be the one using it, and then because it has a user, that means it's going to be getting used and it's going to be getting uh, worked on, or at least I'll be reminded of what needs work. And then from there, it's in a state of constant progress. I can start to try to have other people use it and use it to show these restaurants and whatever that I can do this. So those are issues. Those are things. Those are yeah. Um, but the main thing, the reason why I realized I do have to work on this is because, I mean, that's just where my head was at before I decided to move to Taiwan. Is that I was working on this directory, and it was kind of like uh, what's the word? Not white knuckle. Take a stand. Take a stand. I was like, I'm gonna get this fucking directory done, one way or another. You know. And then as soon as I decided to move to Taiwan, and like the impetus to make a directory for Northeast Minneapolis completely went out the window. But doesn't change the fact that I want to make a directory. One way or another, I want to make a directory. And I don't even really know why. It's just something I feel like I have to do. I feel like I'll figure out why I'm doing it w- as I do it. Um, like, I guess the most important factor is that like I need to get more efficient at making directories. And then the next time I have an idea for a directory, I'm not like figuring out how to do it. Like I have a whole process, and like a lot of it is automated. Um, which I think the tools and the to do that I mostly have already, and I honestly just need to sort of like take stock of them and figure out how to cobble them together in a way that most effectively automates the directory making task. So, so I do need to work on I need to work on the damping directory. I feel like there was one other factor there. I will use it, I guess. That's the and there's just okay, but the other thing, the other barrier to doing it is the specials. And it's like, so I'm like going back and forth between a whole bunch of different things. I'm like, oh, make the damping directory. No, make a karaoke directory. No, make a SEO directory. And then it's like, oh, the whole point of because I guess if you're doing the damping directory, then yeah, the specials are the most important thing. The specials are sort of the starting point. What do they have for a combo meal? What are their combo meals? And then if you have a chatbot that just compares every combo meal of every breakfast place in Hualien, that's a useful chatbot. I will use that chatbot. Uh, and I'll use it, but for my own personal use, but also to decide where to eat breakfast, but also to as marketing. I can call them and say, "Hey, take a look at this." Or can make these little videos. So this is what happens when you look up your restaurant in my chatbot. As you can see, it's got your embedded Facebook. It's got your embedded review bots. It's got your Instagram if you have it. It's got this, and it's got a list of your specials. And then the specials are the reason to get the info from the owner or whatever, right? So, uh, speaking of DoorDash. So anyways, the whole thing is like, okay, so then so even if I'm working on the Denbing directory, I'm like going back and forth between I should just make I should make a demo for each place, or I should call them first and get their specials first, or I should come up with like a more automated way of adding in all the Facebook URLs or something, or all of their website URLs, like in uh in bulk instead of having to do them one by one. So ultimately, all these different ideas and switching back and forth between the different ideas made me confused to the point where I wasn't even sure if I should be working on that. But for whatever reason, I was working on the directory for Northeast Minneapolis, and then that transformed into the directory for Dan Bing's in Hualien. And I need to do that. I have to do it. I maybe won't know why I'm doing it until I'm done with it. One way or another, I have to do it. If I start by making entries for everybody and then call them for their specials, or I start for the specials, doesn't fucking matter. I have to work on a directory, and this is the directory I want to work on. In part because that's just what I do. I just want to have a comprehensive understanding of all of the breakfast options in my area. That's when I'm in Taiwan. That's the way I was when I was in Taiwan. I was like a connoisseur of breakfasts, bots, and I didn't really care much about anything else over there. Oh, and then the other one is like the Cantonese restaurants. So yet another thing that I'm going back and forth on. So yeah, I need to work on the Dan Bing directory, and it doesn't really matter how I work on it. It doesn't matter if what I'm doing is efficient or inefficient, if I'm making them chatbots or I'm just adding their Facebook URL or I'm making taking their menu. It doesn't matter. However, I start working on it, I will uh, be forced to come up with more efficient ways of doing it by working on it. So there's that. That said, yeah, the whole idea of like I should just be contacting SEO companies in Taiwan and asking them like for a job or what. So and trying to be like on day one have something coming in, have something lined up. That is also like a legitimate argument. But I've been wanting to make a directory for like a year almost now, and wasn't satisfied with any of my previous attempts. So I'm gonna make a fucking directory. One way or another, a directory shall be made. But once again, I'm not 100% sure that I'm gonna work on it right now because I kinda need to stand up and walk around and rest my eyes and shit like that. It's only 7:20. It feels like 4 a.m. because it's been dark for 3 hours and it's snowing out there. It's pretty miserable in Minneapolis right now. Cannot wait to get the fuck out of here. Hualien. Oh, okay. That is so annoying how every time I put in Hualien, it will immediately change it into English with the E. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna try. Look at that. What a darling. What an adorable little angel. All right. What if I just search for Hualien Cao Tan? And then just take all the URLs and put them in a text file. And it might not be a good idea, but that's how we learn what are good ideas and what are bad ideas by trying things. 芙蓉打饭店. That's like Hualien's biggest. God, I wish I could. That's annoying. I think what I can do though is make the text thing as small. And I'll give Facebook as much room as possible, and then I have the sidebar and the thing, and it's fine. 原上早餐店. Okay, so my question is this. What? That's not even in Taiwan. Can I get the link? I think I can. 素食早餐, Hualien City, Taiwan. 花莲明莲, I think that's Lian. 竹山早餐. Hmm. I don't know why the structure of that URL is different than the previous one. It's somewhat concerning. I don't know if I need to follow all these breakfast places either. 花莲梅伦店. Is it necessary to? Why are some of them profile.php !ID equals and some of them are not? I wonder if the ones that are question mark like that, if I can just put the ID after the slash and it will work the same. Let's try. Yes, it does automatically forward me to the one with profile PHP. Oh my god, I can't wait to get out of this place. Wait dumpling. It's given me a huge number of. Now it's like almost all bed and breakfasts. 中福路早餐店. That doesn't sound like a bed and breakfast. Shinmai早餐店 in Hualien. That sounds like one. I don't think this is going to be an effective way of doing anything, to be honest, because all I'm getting is the Facebook URLs, and I'm not telling the vector database even who these URLs belong to. And I'm not setting myself up to be able to figure it out in the future. And honestly, I only want the Danbing spots, so I'm getting like all sorts of different types of breakfast spots when I really just want the Danbing spots. But you know what? This is just an experiment, kinda. 米果早餐 at some point, I'm gonna be like, why is 90% of my Facebook feed just breakfast places? 花莲广府美味早餐店. But yeah, this is a pretty in yeah, it's in what's the word I'm looking for? Not in, but extremely. So I'm just gonna add the title to this as 花莲早餐店 Facebook 连接. And then I'm gonna title the file the same thing. Oops, nope. Yeah, this is definitely not an effective way of doing anything, but it'll be fun. Demo URLs, what the fuck? Oh, I just saved it as facebook.txt. That's not good. My God, it is really snowing out there a lot. I so wish I was already in Taiwan. That'd be so nice. Do I not have any money in my API account? Oh, I truly have $0 and 0 cents in there? That's not good. Hmm. I mean, it has been 2 months without adding any money in there and running some relatively expensive API calls. Hmm. I already have a file called Wally and Breakfast Facebook URLs. But I clearly didn't save it in the right directory in my on my computer because I didn't see it in there. Why the fuck? I changed the name here. Hualien Zao Tan Dian Facebook. All right, now let's try. What am I looking for? So according to my API account, it will not answer. All right. Yeah, all right. I wonder when exactly I ran out of money. Okay. Now I'm gonna take a look at the um usage. Make sure nothing weird's on there, but oh, a lot of really weird. There was a lot of usage on December 17th. So I'm not entirely sure if that's because I was doing something or what. I think one thing is just 04 mini is just expensive. This directory thing it's pretty expensive. The way I have it set up is pretty expensive actually because it's 04 mini and then on top of that it's a file search. So we've got a more expensive model and then we've got a more expensive is attached to an expensive tool, you know? 请给我看花莲早餐店的 Facebook。 Okay, so clearly we got a couple of them in here that they showed up, and then the other ones it just gave the link. So that's cool. Now I'm gonna refresh the usage and see how much did that one request cost me. It seems like it hasn't shown up yet, so. Okay. Anyways, all right, so. Oh, I wonder if I can embed a Google map in the response just by getting the URL for a Google map without using like the API. All right, anyways, I'm gonna probably go through these like one by one, not specifically these, but like just go through the damping DN places one by one and just enter them into the database one by one. Just who knows why exactly? I don't know why, but we'll figure it out. And then I'm pretty sure I'm already following, whatever. So, but before I do that, this hasn't been open since 2023. Whenever it's something from posting in 2023, I worry that that either their business or they themselves were victims of the earthquake / tsunami, and that maybe they're not in business anymore. I should find out if they're even in business. 苏食早餐. Let's go to maps and figure out whether or not that's even a thing. Yeah. Because adding a bunch of data in there that is not accurate is like a huge problem. Because it's really difficult to it's a lot more. This content isn't available right now. What the fuck? It's a lot more difficult to remove data than it is to put data in there. What time is it in Taiwan? It's still morning time, I guess. 里面唱 K.
This call is being routed by Google. The cost of this call is 2 cents per minute.
喂，
喂，你好，
哎，你好，你是苏早餐吗？
是，
哦，好，我就是想确认你们还在营业，因为我看在 Facebook 上你们从2023年到现在都没有帖子。
怎么了
没有，我就是想跟你确认一下，你们还是有营业。
？OK，好，拜。
OK，好，谢谢。 Okay, so they are still in business. As long as I had her on the phone, I definitely should have asked her about their Tao Tan, but whatever. 吐司 This better not be an outdated map or menu here because I am about to get really excited about the prices. So if it's outdated and the prices have actually gone up, that said, Taiwan is not, so it shouldn't be that different from a couple of years ago. 美味 汉堡. So a hamburger is like $1. If you add an egg, it's $1 and like 15 cents. 奶茶, 你怎么可以有这么多的茶？但是鲜奶红茶. Yeah, okay, that is what I'm looking for. So it's $1 for a milk tea. Where can you get $1 milk tea in the U.S.? You cannot. Danbing, less than $1 for a danbing. But do they have a Tao Tan? I'm not seeing any Tao Tan. Oh my god, this is making me hungry. That is glorious. This is what we want in the directory. We want these menus. With the menus, especially if they have a Tao Tan. Or that they do not have a Tao Tan. Actually, let me check the date. Does it tell me the date? Yeah, so the October 2025, this is a current menu. $1 for danbing, $1 for milk tea. The club danbing is still less than $2. Bolo. Club sandwich is $2. Fine. Who do I order from? Because if they Food Panda and Uber Eats, interesting. So this will probably have, because if a lot of these places have Uber Eats, then that's a great way to get their menus. That is weird. It's called Su Zao Tan. It's like vegetarian breakfast, but they consider eggs to be vegetarian. Wait, what? Why they have meat in all of their dishes? What is happening here? Okay. 美味汉堡、吐司、可口蛋饼。起司蛋饼45块，原味蛋饼35块. So it looks like if it's on Uber Eats, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's still quite cheap by American standards. All right, I'm gonna keep working on this directory at some point, but I'm gonna try to figure out some way to take some sort of a break in the meantime, even though I don't know how to take a break because it's very miserable outside, and anything I do inside won't probably feel much like a break. Su Jianbao. Okay. Vegan restaurant? They have eggs and meat and all, and milk tea. How is any of that vegan? I think that's just like a translation, just auto translate from su into vegan when it should be vegetarian, not vegan. but you're still calling milk and uh, and it's halal. Man, these guys got everything. These guys are vegetarian halal. Vegetarian halal serving club sandwiches with cheese and egg and ham. But they have reviews. That means they got a Google Business Profile. That means I can make a review bot. Okay, anyways, I'm not really sure what I'm working on here, but I'll come back to it. Wait, actually, I guess I found that through, yeah, I found that through the chatbot, so it's kind of pointless to now look whether or not they have a Facebook. We know they have a Facebook. What was the one I was just looking at? Su Jianbao. Su Jianbao. Let's see if they have a Facebook, just out of curiosity, before I move along with my life. Hualian Su Jianbao. I'm not seeing it. Oh, terrible. Oh my God. Oh, fuck. Damn, that's horrific. All right, all right, all right. What else should I give up on finding this? Hualian Su Jianbao. Results. I want. Can I make my results pages only? Yes, I can. Okay, there we go. We didn't find any results. Okay, all right, we're done here.